Kill Bill for me is probably Quentin Tarantino's best film overall. Kill Bill being Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2. My love affair with Tarantino began back with Reservoir Dogs when I saw it in at the Ritz 5, or might have been the Ritz at the Bourse actually, in Center City, Philadelphia. And my love affair with him just carried on through Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown, and I was just eating it up. And I was wondering, what else can he do? And then he comes along and gives us Kill Bill. Now, I love Kill Bill. And Kill Bill probably tainted my ability to actually enjoy future Tarantino films. Because Inglourious Basterds, I know everybody loves Inglourious Basterds. And it's like, I was kind of thought it was just okay. It paled in for me. It paled in comparison to Kill Bill 1 and 2, and how Tarantino chose to tell a story. It felt unoriginal to me because he did all of that already with Kill Bill. He didn't show me anything new. It wasn't until Django Unchained, which I loved, but not as much as Kill Bill, that for me he got back on track. And now obviously I cannot wait to see The Hateful Eight, which is especially in the Roadshow Ultra Panavision 70mm version, which I cannot wait to see. And so I'm very hopeful for that. But for a time, Kill Bill ruined my ability to really, really, really enjoy Tarantino films for a very short while. Now, Kill Bill came out in 2003 and 2004. The film was split into two because it was just deemed to be way too long. It was 4 hours. And for a time, they toyed with the idea of putting it out that way, and most people probably figured the movie was probably just going to be cut down to a 2.5, 3 hour movie or something like that. But the Weinsteins decided to, no, we'll just take the movie, cut it in half, and release it in about 6 months apart as Volume 1 and Volume 2. And Tarantino was fine with that. So when we saw Kill Bill Volume 1, and we're introduced to all the characters like the Bride and Bill and who else was there? Ellie Driver and the 88 Keys and all these characters, Hattori Hanzo, all these like great characters we were introduced to in Kill Bill Volume 1. And Tarantino was firing on all cylinders. There was a lot of energy in this film. It was a lot of fun, great dialogue, bloody violence, great fight scenes. It was a fantastic homage to the great 70s martial arts epics, and it was a real fun ride. I mean, who could ever forget the 88 Keys fight that was like a non-stop gore fest in black and white, no less. Then that was followed up by a fantastic one-on-one fight between the Bride and Orenishi, played by Lucy Liu, which was a fantastic fight. And there was like a lot of weight, and it was a great, great, great scene. And that's just one scene in this movie that just was a great ride, great, highly entertaining. That just moved by like that. It ended up becoming one of my favorite movies of Tarantino's until Volume 2 came out. Now, of course, I'm assuming that you have seen Kill Bill 1 and 2, and there will be spoilers discussed because that's going to provide the context to the whole bloody affair. So if you haven't seen Kill Bill 1 or 2, or even the whole bloody affair, I highly recommend stopping now and coming back later and checking in and picking up where you left off. So when Volume 1 ended, the Bride basically tortures, how could I forget her name? Sophie Fatale. Sophie Fatale, for information to find out where Bill is, and also to make sure she delivers Bill a message. She basically, in the fight, in the 88 Keys fight, she cuts off her arm. And then she basically tosses her aside, throws her down a hill, landing at a hospital to tell Bill that she's coming for him to get revenge. And in the end scene, we see Bill is talking to Sophie, and he asks Sophie, does she know that her daughter is still alive? Now, that was a great moment, because all this time, let's rewind this, but in the beginning, it was Bill shoots the bride who is pregnant, and presumably kills her and her baby. But it turns out the baby's still alive, and now is all grown up. And, well, now just a child. But we didn't know she was alive. So now we as an audience know she's alive, but the bride does not. So now we got the fuel for the fire for Volume 2, and then Volume 2 kicks in. Now, 1 and 2 are very different. 1 was the action part of it. 2 was the meat. 2 was also the dessert. 2 had all of the drama and the backstory. And 2, for me, Volume 2 ended up being the best part, and as a result ended up being my favorite Tarantino film. Even though it's like kind of like what many people like say Godfather 1 and 2 are both parts of one movie. That's kind of like how I treat Kill Bill. And Volume 2, for me, was just another fantastic ride for different reasons. Now we got a fantastic story, great dialogue, more great characters. Gordon Wu as Pai Mei, great action sequences, and a much more cohesive wraparound story that really drives home the vengeance that this woman seeks. And then she, but even without her, there's like a great scene with Bud, played by Michael Madsen, and Ellie Driver, played by Daryl Hannah, in Bud's trailer, and basically Ellie swindles Bud, and Bud gets bitten by a black mamba. What makes this scene great is that Tarantino takes a moment to stop the film, essentially, to let Ellie Driver give us a brief history behind the black mamba and why it's considered the deadliest snake on the earth. And it was just a great moment. Just she's like rattling off these details as Bud is squirming on the ground, breathing his dying breath. Moments like that, and then it's followed up with another fantastic fight, this time between Ellie Driver and the bride. And there's other great scenes like the bride's training sequence with Pai Mei, played by the great Gordon Liu. And it was just a phenomenal sequence. He was such a memorable character. He was like her Yoda, and it was just fantastic. And then we meet Bill, played by David Carradine. Bill is another great character, and there was a awesome monologue he delivers about the duality of superheroes and how it relates to their story, their life story between the bride and Bill. And there was it was just such a great movie. And when it ended, I was like thinking, I was like that's awesome. That was so damn good. I was like, this was like some fantastic stuff. And then I was like thinking of the movie overall. I'm like, wow, that was amazing. And I knew that the film was broken up from 2, and like most people assumed, and as I mentioned, I assumed that the movie was just cut in half, and then it just put the 2 parts. And I was hoping one day that I would get to see the complete cut, and eventually the complete cut was released and shown at Cannes as Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, which would end up being a 4-hour-plus film with an intermission. I had the opportunity to see The Whole Bloody Affair at the New Beverly Cinema in Hollywood, California. And going in, I was expecting, okay, this should be cool. It's like, I've already seen Volume 1 and Volume 2 back-to-back when Volume 2 opened at the Cinerama Dome in Hollywood. And that was a great experience. That was cool. But little did I expect that there would be some substantial changes, some subtle and some substantial changes in the film, from The Whole Bloody Affair to what was Volumes 1 and 2. Now there are like mild little differences. Like the beginning, it has a different. It doesn't open with the same Klingon proverb. It opens with the dedication, and there's like maybe some extensions in the anime sequence dealing with Oronishi's origins. But obviously, one of the big deals would be the black and white sequence with the 88 Keys fight. Which became black and white because that was the only way for them to get around the NC-17 rating, and they showed it in black and white so they could show all the blood. Well, now the whole fight scene is in color, all bloody red of it, and it is great. But it isn't the presentation isn't just the scene in color now. Tarantino puts back in alternate cuts, alternate takes, different angles, and some extended sequences within the fight itself that we did not see in Volume 1. And I love that stuff. And there was like a part dealing with one character. If you remember in Volume 1, there was a young member of the 88 Keys who was facing off with the bride, and he was obviously just a punk kid, and then the bride just whacks him in the ass and spanks him and sends him home to his mama. There was a little more to that before that. And that added a little bit of weight. But one of the major differences, which I felt I wish I had never seen Volume 1 and Volume 2 in the first place, and made the whole bloody affair the first time ever seeing this magnum opus from Tarantino, is that, as I mentioned in the end of Volume 1, Bill asks Sophie Fatale if she knows that her daughter's still alive. It's like, ooh, great cliffhanger, awesome. But now in the whole bloody affair, the bride is torturing Sophie Fatale for information. She cut off an arm prior to the 88 Keys fight. Brutal. But then she proceeds to cut off further limbs and just basically tears her apart, and the movie, the part 1, the pre-intermission scene, ends with basically her telling her to tell Bill that I'm coming to get him and I'm going to get revenge, and then it cuts to intermission. No mention of her daughter. Bill doesn't stop to say, "Hey, do you know your daughter's still alive?" We as an audience do not know that the bride's daughter is still alive. For all we know is the bride, as we and the bride know that her daughter is dead, and she must seek revenge because that was taken from her. Her life was destroyed, but her daughter's life was destroyed as well, and she must get vengeance, and we want her to get that revenge. And the build up to the intermission, it was like, yes, go get him. It's like, here we go. And then when Volume 2 begins, it's a brief recap of the events in 1 in the beginning, and you see Uma Thurman as the bride recapping events, and then it begins with I think it was Chapter 6, the massacre at the Lone Pine Church, or whatever the church was called. And in the whole bloody affair, when the intermission ends, when the start ends and starts and ends, I should say, it goes right into Chapter 6. Volume 2 begins right away. No introductions, no mention of the daughter or anything like that. Now, Volume 2 pretty much, the second half of the film, which was Volume 2, pretty much plays out exactly the same, except for one difference, which for me I thought would have been a powerful moment. When, if you remember in Volume 2, when the bride, who at this point in the film we now know as Beatrix Kiddo, arrives at Bill's villa, and she's going to kill him, she walks in, and then suddenly there's her daughter Bibi. It's like, what? And we as an audience knew she was alive, and we were just waiting for the reunion. We just couldn't wait for her to see her daughter. But can you imagine the impact of the film, of after sitting through maybe, I guess, 3 hours and 15 minutes worth of this woman seeking bloody revenge for the murder of her child, to suddenly walk in and suddenly there she is. All this time we thought she was dead. And no, she is quite alive and is standing right there. And the look on Uma Thurman's face is like, oh my God, that's great. But can you imagine in that very moment you would feel the same exact way as she does? It's like, she's alive? Because when I saw that, it was going through my mind. It's like, that was a great reveal if I had not known that. And also because if she knew that she was alive, would she have gone through all of what she had to get revenge? Would she have just gone, like, forego everything and just go right to Bill and get her daughter? Had she known, would all this bloodshed have been necessary? Those are questions to ponder. And those were things that ran through my head, but that reveal was potent. And I wish, like I said, I wish for that reveal. I wish I had never seen Volume 1 and 2 when they first came out, and The Whole Bloody Affair was the version that I saw for the first time. But you have to take what is known as the suspension of disbelief and, to quote a Jedi Master, unlearn what you have learned. And forget that the events that you saw in Volume 1 and Volume 2, and just take The Whole Bloody Affair as a whole new experience. I mean, sure, there would be things that you recognize, but there's those couple of beats that are very different and basically shift the tone of what follows. Those are some great moments to key in on. So I gave Volumes 1 and 2 10s each, and obviously The Whole Bloody Affair I would give a 10 out of 10. The Whole Bloody Affair is the only version of Kill Bill I'd want to watch if I were going to sit down and watch them in its entirety. I might have Volume 1 or Volume 2 might be on cable or on TRT or something, and I might stop to watch a bit here and there, but as a whole, if I wanted to sit down and watch it completely, The Whole Bloody Affair is the only way I would go. I literally have not watched the Kill Bill in its entirety since that time I saw The Whole Bloody Affair. It might have been about 5 years ago or something like that at the New Beverly. So, have you heard about The Whole Bloody Affair? Have you seen The Whole Bloody Affair? What do you think? Compare or contrast as which versions do you prefer? Do you prefer the full version or the split version? As a programming note, The Whole Bloody Affair is actually going to be playing this Christmas night, 2015, at the New Beverly Cinema, one show only. So that might be a hot ticket if you're in LA at the time. So please share in the comments below what you think about Kill Bill itself, Tarantino, The Whole Bloody Affair, everything. As like I said, this is one of my favorite movies of all time, and my favorite Tarantino film. And we'll see what happens with The Hateful Eight. And if you like my Throwback Thursday review, please hit that like button below. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. For those who have, thank you very much. Subscribing to my channel allows you to stay on top of my Throwback Thursday reviews and my regular reviews as they come in. Like I said, I can't wait to see Hateful Eight, and you'll be sure to hear my review of that here. So, until next time, remember, vengeance is a dish best served cold.